You are listening to The Standards Desk of News from The Standard Show, the podcast that brings you the stories behind the standards with Matthew Childs and Cindy Paragill. Today's episode is for July 2023.
The Standards Desk of News is where we take a brief look at some of the news about standards and standards in the news. You can find the links to this month's stories in the show notes. Hey, Cindy Paragill.
Hey, Matthew Childs.
Well, shall we have the Standards Desk of News?
Yep, let's do it.
Yes, this is the Standards Desk of News. News about standards and standards in the news. This time for July 2023.
Yes, and we start with a new standard for menstruation, menstrual health, and menopause in the workplace.
We do. Now, following extensive consultation with experts and the public, BSI has published BS 3416. This groundbreaking guidance standard sets out practical recommendations for workplace strategies and adjustments to help organisations meet the needs of employees experiencing menstruation or menopause.
The guidance is designed to enable organizations to prioritize the needs of colleagues and to tackle the potential loss of skilled workers who may be at their career peak. We are all working for longer and retiring later, and today's female workers are the first generation to remain in the workplace for as long as their male colleagues. There could be more than 1 billion women experiencing menopause in the world by 2025. That is 12% of the world's population, with many still actively working.
So, BS 3416 has been developed to help organisations identify misconceptions around menstruation, perimenopause, and menopause, and the impact a taboo surrounding them can have on workplace support.
The standard provides examples of good practices for employers, including on policy guidance, work design, physical aspects of work, and workplace culture. For example, whether there is a general awareness of menstruation and menopause, and whether or not employees are given opportunities for open conversations or to request support. Now, Matthew, you were at the launch event, weren't you?
I was. In fact, I would say that it was kind of a part standard launch, part campaign launch, and part celebration, really. I was there interviewing some of those involved in developing BS 3416, so listen out for a dedicated episode on this standard very soon.
Nice. Well,
from a BSI standard launch to an IAC project launch.
Yes, this is a project from the IAC's Global Impact Fund. Award-winning clean energy company Acceleron has been selected to implement the fund's inaugural project, catalyzing innovation for circular models in Africa, turning battery e-waste into e-resources.
The IEC Global Impact Fund provides grants for projects that address specific global environmental, governance and societal challenges through the application of IEC international standards. The project was selected because of the concerns around the environmental impact of batteries, such as mineral extraction and improper disposal.
Batteries are seen as a key solution to the problem of electricity access in sub-Saharan Africa, which has an overall electrification rate of 48.2%. Yet, batteries remain expensive and complicated to maintain, resulting in significant amounts of waste.
Acceleron will use its compression lithium-ion battery technology to implement a study that makes new batteries out of old ones. Standards will be used in all aspects of the process, and the batteries will be then tested at Acceleron facilities in Kenya and Uganda.
Under the guidance of Kenya Bureau of Standards, the project will provide a use case of standardized testing for assessment in the two countries. This will enable a standardized approach which will allow the technology to be replicated and promote battery circularity across the world.
Now, the project will run as a 2-year pilot with support from IEC members and other partners.
Now, from technology to terminology. Have your say on the terms we use for connected and automated mobility.
Standards are all about agreeing what good looks like. But to do that, sometimes you need to start with the very basic considerations, the definition of things, a vocabulary, agreeing on what is meant by X or Y. And most often, these can be in areas where technology or ideas are in the early and emerging stages of development.
Comments are now invited on a new vocabulary standard for the Connected and Autonomous Mobility Sector, or CAM.
BS Flex 1980 provides definitions of 103 key terms and 60 most commonly used abbreviations for the CAM sector, focused on those relating to vehicles and associated technologies. Things such as, what do we really mean by connected and automated vehicle, or CAV, or even, how do we define passenger? BSI Flex standards are used in fast-changing markets or in areas of rapid innovation. To get involved and have your say on BSI Flex 1890, then follow the link in the show notes. The deadline for comments is the 26th of September.
And finally, talking of September, let's all meet up in September.
What, all of us?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, let's do it. Now, this is the ISO annual meeting, billed as the world's premier event for the international standards community. And this year it is taking place between the 18th and 22nd of September in Brisbane, Australia.
Yes, the annual meeting brings together experts and leaders from the ISO community, as well as government, industry, and civil society representatives to share their thoughts on the biggest challenges we face. And it's open to anyone eager to know more about how standards can help to meet them. Under the theme of Meeting Global Needs, the event features a series of virtual, hybrid, and in-person panel discussions and workshops. There are more than 20 sessions on the program, including climate action, AI, the metaverse, and food waste.
Sounds good, and maybe, Cindy Paracle, a great location for a live episode of the Standards Show?
Maybe.
Well, thank you, Cindy Paracle.
Thank you, Matthew Childs.
For July 2023, that's the Standards Desk of News.
You have been listening to the Standards Desk of News from The Standard Show. Subscribe to The Standard Show now, wherever you get your podcasts.
You just heard a Stripped Media production.